What's up everybody and welcome back to Weekly Retro Stuff, where we bring you a brief highlight of cool things going on in the retro communities, with new episodes coming out every Friday. This is episode number 38, and today we're going to cover a Castlevania Arcade game, some Ninja Gaiden runs, a Segathon event, a new Mega Man game, and more. There was a Castlevania Arcade game released in Japan in 2009. It's a two-player light gun game similar to the House of Dead series and has 3 selectable characters. Using a whip controller, it kinda controlled like a Wii game in many ways. You can whip or use sub-weapons, which require hearts. Sadly, this game was never officially released outside of Japan, but there were a couple cabinets placed in European test markets. The game is now playable on PC. Well, sort of. There's a current effort to get it fully playable with a mouse, but it's still a work in progress. So while it can technically be played, it's not fully there yet, but once it is, it'll be released for everybody to enjoy.
Release the Kraken!
There's also a hope that they can get the game to work with things like a Wiimote or the PlayStation Move controller, but for now, all their efforts are going towards getting it fully functional with a mouse. The sound effects don't work yet, but the soundtrack does, and it's amazing. There's also a really cool mechanic where you can shoot candles to get more hearts for sub-weapons, but doing so is going to make the level darker and therefore make it more difficult. It could really be interesting to see how people decide to route the speedrun for this and using the candles and deciding to take a darker route, or when you start to memorize the areas. I can't wait for this game to be done, and I can't wait to see what people do with it. Segathon V is getting closer.
Please come closer.
Too close, a little too close.
Starting Friday, June 9th, 2023 at 5 AM Pacific time, this event is going to be 3 days of Sega games. Friday kicks off with Ghost Devitt running Persona 3 Portable for the Vita, and the day ends with Deshana doing a 100% run of Beyond Oasis for the Genesis. There are so many games and runners that it would take a whole episode just to name them all. But some of the standout games for me are Socket being run by Theagach, a Silhouette Mirage race between Karaoke and Shintalk, Rocket Knight Adventures being run by March, and the new Ghostbusters Special Edition we covered in last week's episode is being ran by Radioactive Man from Mars, and that's just a small portion of the games being ran on Friday. The event will be capped off with a Toe Jam and Earl race that's scheduled to start June 11th at 6 PM Pacific time. So if you like Sega games, or speedruns, or both, this event is definitely for you. And if you don't like Sega games, get your act together.
You can't do this on Nintendo Genesis.
Does.
Genesis.
Does.
Genesis.
Does.
Genesis.
Does. Free.
Does.
What Nintendo don't.
There's a runner that many people believe to be the future of Ninja Gaiden on the NES. That runner's name is PensiveMoose, and they recently hit a huge milestone. His first submitted time to Ninja Gaiden on the SRC board was on December 19th of 2020 with a time of 15 minutes and 36 seconds. 6 months later, they had achieved their Ninja license. A Ninja license in Ninja Gaiden is considered to be anything faster than a 12-minute and 30-second time. He continued running the game in almost exactly 2 years after their first submitted time. He had lowered his any percent time all the way down to an 11:39 and 600 milliseconds, putting them into 3rd place on the podium. Then, on May 16th, 2023, he made history in the Damageless category.
Let's go! Yes! 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 It's f***ing over! Yes! 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 It's over!
They managed to get a time of 12 minutes and 13 seconds without taking any damage, which beat the previous world record by 27 seconds, becoming the first ever to achieve a Ninja license in the Damageless category. PensiveMoose has some insane skills, and whatever they choose to do next will be well worth paying attention to. It's that time again. MusicNGaming's monthly event is kicking off today at 3:30 PM Pacific time on his Twitch channel. This month's event is called AniMayNga, and you're not going to want to miss it. Each event continues to improve on the last, and it's always a fun time. But don't take my word for it.
But you don't have to take my word for it.
Edo87 has done it again. Lately he's been on a journey getting tons of world records for arcade games, but recently he was drawn back to the garden by the Gaiden Cup.
Come to Butthead.
The Gaiden Cup was a Ninja Gaiden knockout tournament that took place last week, and it brought back tons of runners. This caused Edo to go back into the lab, and he ended up taking a shot at the 100% category. And boy did he ever. On May 24th, he managed to pull through with a time of 15 minutes and 21 seconds, which was good enough to take the world record by 19 seconds. But he knew he could do better, so he kept at it. That same day, he became the first ever to achieve a sub 15-minute time in the 100% category with a time of 14 minutes and 55 seconds.
Yeah.
Edo was truly something special. He finds new routes and new ways and is really good at picking apart games and discovering new strats, and he'll spend a ton of time in the lab just finding new things. It's really incredible to watch him operate, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Our friend BetaXcomplainer has also been incredibly busy. They recently got third place in the Ninja Gaiden Pacifist category with an incredible time of 14 minutes and 18 seconds on May 18th, 2023.
Yes, come on! Yeah! Woo! First try, let's go! Yes! Yes! Podium run!
Then they competed in the Gaiden Cup, and afterwards they decided to pick up a fun little game for Mayhem called Tag Team Wrestling on the NES. I tried playing this game and I had no idea what I was doing, but BetaXcomplainer had no problem snagging 2 new world records. The first being in the American Champion category with a time of 6 minutes and 58 seconds.
Oh man, that's sub 7. That's sub 7.
The second was in the European Champion category with a time of 14 minutes and 36 seconds. And if that wasn't enough,
Yes, that's gotta be world record. Yeah, come on.
they also put up a third place time in the Regional Champion category with a time of 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Beta has absolutely been destroying every game they've touched lately. So what's next, Beta? Originally released in Japan on October 21st, 1994, Mega Man The Wily Wars is a Sega Genesis remake of the first 3 Mega Man games. The game was physically released in Japan and Europe, but was only available in the US through Sega Channel. If you don't know about Sega Channel, you should definitely check that out. It was basically Netflix for video games back in the 90s. Now, you can enjoy Mega Man 4 on the Genesis as well, with 5 and 6 coming soon. Mega Man The Sequel Wars is a fan-made homebrew game that gives the last 3 NES Mega Man games that beautiful 16-bit treatment. Not only are they taking the time to faithfully recreate the games, but they've also added Proto Man and Roll as playable characters. So far, only Mega Man 4 is complete, and they're calling it Episode Red. It can be downloaded and played for free right now. I'll be sure to let you know when the next games are finished, but for now, go enjoy Mega Man 4 with all new graphics, music, characters, and more. And that's what we got for this week. The one thing you can't get back is your time, so thank you so much for spending your time with me. My name is Stuff, and this has been episode 38 of Weekly Retro Stuff.